You've probably seen it a million times. Christians taking a little piece of bread, a small cup of wine, a ritual called communion or the Eucharist. It's so familiar. But what if I told you there's a layer of meaning hidden in plain sight? A connection to one of the most sacred ceremonies in human life that most of us have totally missed. Well, let's dive in.
So is this just a simple act of remembrance? A symbolic meal? Or is it something far, far more profound? We're going to explore the idea that this ancient practice is actually concealing a powerful mystery, one that even people who do it every week might not have seen before.
To unlock this mystery, we can't start in a church. We actually have to go back in time to a sacred Jewish dinner, the Passover meal. This is where Jesus laid the blueprint for everything that was about to happen.
Okay, so the Passover Seder. It's this amazing annual tradition celebrating the moment God freed the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. Every single thing on that table is packed with meaning. The unleavened bread, for instance, represents purity and having to leave Egypt in a hurry. But the wine plays a very specific and crucial role.
During the meal, they pour 4 different cups of wine. Each one represents one of God's big promises from the book of Exodus. You've got the cup of sanctification, the cup of deliverance, the cup of redemption, and finally, the cup of praise. Now, I want you to keep your eye on that third one, the cup of redemption. It is the absolute key to this whole story.
So let's go to what we now call the Last Supper. Jesus and his disciples, they're celebrating this very Passover meal. It's familiar, it's tradition. But then he does something completely radical. He takes these ancient symbols that were all about looking backward to a past rescue, and he completely reframes them to point forward to a whole new kind of redemption.
First, he takes that unleavened bread, he breaks it, and he gives it the startling new identity. "This is my body," he says, "given for you." Right there, he's creating the first part of a brand new ceremony, smack in the middle of the old one.
And then he turns to the wine. But he doesn't just pick up any cup. The Gospels are very specific here. He waits for that third cup, the cup of redemption. Now, this is so important. Why that cup? Why wait for that specific one? Well, because of what he was about to do with it. And this, right here, is where the story takes an absolutely fascinating turn. See, this wasn't just about transforming a Passover meal. Jesus was about to merge this sacred dinner with another ancient ceremony, one that signifies the most intimate bond you can imagine. This was the great reveal.
Holding that third cup, the cup of redemption, he makes his most significant declaration. He says, "This is my blood of the covenant." He's not just talking about forgiveness here. He's using the language of a covenant, a binding, unbreakable, life-altering promise.
Now, to really feel the full weight of those words, we have to understand the culture. In an ancient Jewish wedding, there was this pivotal moment when the groom would share a cup of wine with his bride. When they both drank from that same cup, it symbolized that they were becoming one blood, one flesh. It sealed their marriage covenant.
Do you see it now? When you put the pieces together, the language of a covenant, the powerful symbol of a shared cup, Jesus wasn't just starting a new religious ritual. He was transforming the Last Supper into a wedding ceremony. That's the mystery, right there.
Let's just break it down, because this is beautiful. In this divine drama, Jesus is the bridegroom. The church, that's all of his followers, you and me, we are his bride. That shared cup of wine, it's not just a symbol of forgiveness, it's the wedding vow. And the covenant they're making, well, it's a union that goes way beyond until death do us part.
And this whole idea builds on an even older tradition. I mean, the use of bread and wine wasn't random. Millennia before this, a mysterious priest king named Melchizedek brought out bread and wine to bless Abram. Way later, a prophecy said the Messiah would be a priest in that same order of Melchizedek. So Jesus, as the ultimate high priest, is fulfilling this ancient pattern, offering his own body and blood.
Okay, so this is an amazing piece of history, right? Incredible theology. But what does it mean for us, today? Why does this ancient vow, made in an upper room 2,000 years ago, still matter? Well, when we look at these elements, we're really seeing two realities at once. The bread on a physical level is sustenance for our bodies, but on a spiritual level, it represents Christ's broken body, the thing that gives us access to God. And the wine, yeah, it's just grape juice, but it represents the spiritual reality of Christ's shed blood, the thing that offers us forgiveness, redemption, and life forever.
You know, this understanding changes communion from a passive ritual into a really dynamic experience. It's not just about thinking back to something that happened a long time ago. We are actively sharing in that sacrifice. We are reaffirming our wedding vow. We're uniting our own personal struggles and offerings with His, and when we do that, we find ourselves reconciled not just to God, but to each other.
There's this beautiful line from the book of Romans that just sums it all up. The covenant, this vow, it's a promise of a shared journey. By tying our lives and our sacrifices to His, we're promised to share in His ultimate victory and glory. It's pretty amazing.
So I'll just leave you with this to think about. If taking the bread and wine isn't just a religious observance, but it's you, personally, reaffirming a wedding vow between you and God, how does that change the way you approach the altar?